Welcome back to SBS Live for part 2 of our interview with Corey and Theresa from Cinged, a band that creates art and music and combines them together. Last week we talked about some awesome things, and we got some incredible insights from this band that personally I'm never going to forget. I thought things that Corey had to say on the state of music today were just absolutely phenomenal, and again, lots of things that I think that people just in general need to hear. A lot of positivity in this band and a lot of great things to say, so I was very happy that to get the quality that came back through the internet from these guys. So I'm excited to see again what happens in part 2. Well, I'm excited for you to see it. I've seen it, and it's awesome. I'm gonna bug Theresa as much as I can in this episode and see what I can get out of her as far as her songwriting's concerned, how she fits into Cinged, and the music they make. In addition to that, we're going to close out with some shout-outs from both Corey and Theresa to all kinds of absolutely fantastic people they have met along the way, and people that have helped them in this adventure they know as Cinged. In addition to that, probably one of the most important and one of the most unique maybe responses that we've had to a question. But we're going to ask Corey and Theresa about their management. And as you know, that's something that we tackle a little bit differently through Sleepingbagstudios. It's something that we really believe that the power of the internet has kind of changed that industry, and it'll be interesting to see just kind of where our views line up. So I'm excited for you guys to see that, because again, this is a band that has something to say, and I think that what's said here is very important. So hopefully you stick around to listen to that. This is SBS Live this week, once again with Corey and Theresa from Cinged, and we're excited to show that to you. So let's get to it. Is my full beard in the shot? Almost. Okay, well, that's close enough. That's fine. Theresa, here's another guess. I'm a betting man, and I'm willing to bet that your philosophy on how a singer should contribute to a song is going to be different than we hear from most people. So tell us a little bit about how you find your way into each and every one of these Cinged tracks.
Art in general, painting, music, anything creative, is like a blank canvas, including a song. All these different mediums do is alter what the viewer or the listener is either looking at or listening to. And that's the beauty of art and creativity. You can't contain it. It just is what it is. I find that the tools for music in general is one of the most powerful mediums used by people. They can communicate things that aren't communicable to other people.
Communicable?
Is that a good word?
Yeah, okay, let's go with it.
If not, we can just edit it out, right?
Sure.
Alright, great. It should provoke thought and have a positive, healing message to the listener. That's what I think a good songwriter, a good singer, a good band should do. Since these tools are available to us, we might as well use them for great change, don't you think? I tend to go within myself and listen to what my heart is telling me. And when I do that, it brings up lyrics, just spontaneous lyrics of things that I'm concerned about in terms of either myself, people, or the planet. And a lot of the stuff that I do just comes out spontaneous and random. It is, I guess, experimental, as you put it. I'm trying my best. What you have is something completely and utterly created, unique, just by you. But it should also have an impact. And that's what I feel about songwriting and art in general. Invoke thought. Provoke it.
Okay, I definitely want this one individually. So, Theresa, Corey, describe your best on stage moment.
My best on stage moment would have to be the moments when you feel that you've connected to somebody out in the crowd who was previously just paying attention to the chatter, and then all of a sudden they hear something that you say and it just, they're yours. They connect with you and they hone in on you and they're like, what did that person just say? That moment right there is like by far the best energy feeling ever when it comes to performing live.
Any moment where you've completely enjoyed yourself and you feel completely satisfied, you know, and you're not only satisfied, but you're filled with these endorphins or whatever you want to call them that just fill you with the emotions that allow you to appreciate the beauty of everything around you. It's a completely, you know, very, I don't know what the word spiritual moment, however, you know, I mean, any person who's played that sort of live set would totally understand what I'm saying. The moment when you've captured the entire room as if you've placed a spell upon it by simply playing some music. Any moment that the music casts a spell upon yourself and you become completely captured by what you're doing.
When everything just connects, you connect with the audience connects with you. There's an exchange of energy, they're feeling what you're doing, they're giving you positive feedback, you get kind of high from it. Those would have to be my best on stage moments ever.
Hey, Cinged. Okay, so I guess what I'm wondering this time is, if there's only two of you guys, have you ever considered adding a third or a fourth member? Is there a reason? Or you guys, I mean, it sounds like you guys come out pretty full whenever I hear a recorded track. So, what would the purpose of a third or fourth member do for you guys? Or is it just that nobody can crack the chemistry of what you guys have together? Explain. Why are there only two people?
Another member, add another flavor? Absolutely.
We're just letting our band and whatever it's going to be grow into exactly that. We're giving it the opportunity to become exactly what it needs to be. And so it's best if we just let it breathe and become the creature it's meant to be, so that so that we're exactly what we should be doing. If we were to bring on any other members, we would expect them to be completely stoked upon what we're doing. You know, they would have had to have listened to our stuff. They would have had to take the time to actually learn to play with it, you know, to come to us prepared and ready to be like, hey man, let's do this. And not only that, but we need them to have the motivation and the ambition. You know, I want them phoning me, I want them bugging me, I want them being like, hey dude, let's practice, hey dude, let's make this new song, hey dude, I've created this, let's try this, hey man. You know, I need that constant effort, you know. That's what I would really need, is someone with a real good positive energy, and also an energy to create, and an energy to play live, an energy, you know, someone real passionate. That's what we really need. Someone filled with passion and willing to pour that passion to our band with us.
The right chemistry, very rare.
Cinged has a very unique sound overall. Now, I do find comparisons to bands like A Sunny Day in Glasgow, Massive Attack maybe, some Portishead in there, but I don't see them listed in your influences. So, tell me about your influences and how they play a role in your music now.
Some of my influences when I got older came from going to music festivals for a couple years in a row. It's all I would do, actually, camp out and listen to a lot of bands that were more underground. So just like a lot of local underground music festival, acoustic around the campfire type of music is what really influenced me for probably a good 4 to 5 years of just straight doing that, and random amazing talent that you just stumble upon in these places.
Our biggest influence is music itself, the way it makes us feel.
I remember one year going to Ness Creek, that's in Saskatchewan, and we were camping out, and there was a band at the main stage that just kind of drew me from my tent out to the main stage area, and they weren't really a band, but they were musicians from Ecuador, so they were Ecuadorians, and they had all kinds of different instruments, and they had their dancers with them, and they said that some of them were holy men from where they came from, and just the music they created was so spirited, and it just made me dance and move and flow, and that kind of represents like what I do now. I kind of move and dance and flow with the music that we create now. So a lot of my influences did come from those kinds of people. It was awesome. It was really good to experience that. Growing up in like a smaller place in Prince Albert, a lot of local artists, you know, it's kind of more like hidden underground type of thing. But I remember there was a group of older artists. They were just like absolutely awesome to just go to a jam at someone's house and just sit around, and people playing all kinds of different instruments, like all the way from like ukuleles to the fiddle to like djembes. That's how, you know, that's where I was able to learn the drum really good, was just hanging out with those kinds of people, just people completely full of spirit and completely full of soul, and they just sang with each other and communicated through instruments, and it was just being around groups of people like that and being drawn to groups of people like that is what really helped me to tune myself musically. Some of the bands I really like are like Wardruna. They're a Norwegian band. They are amazing. When I heard them and the different instruments and just how deep and just from the gut soul, it just blew me away. I mean, I played it on the computer. I was like, who's Wardruna? So I checked it out, I played it, and I was like pulled in and just loved it. And then Corey heard it, and then like he was just kind of walking by and he heard me playing Ordruna and he was like, what's that? And we both just like sat there and we looked up everything we could on them. They're amazing. You should check them out. I didn't really have any other major influences, I guess, except for just life, things that happen beyond my control to me. That influenced me a lot, and people in my life. It makes me who I am today.
And of course, life itself is probably our biggest influence. I mean, obviously.
I think a lot of what influences me to create music is the enjoyable process of creation of something. The actual process of going through and creating the song, and a lot of times can be a lot more enjoyable than even performing it. I mean, don't get me wrong, not always, but there's just something about it that the discovery of something new to oneself, that's very exciting. Music itself is a very moving force, and that really, the way it affects a person, so you can't even describe it in words, but that's the most influential part about it. Music can be controversial, music can be very spiritual, music can be very healing, music can enlighten one's consciousness. Music helps a person slow down in the craziness of life, to separate oneself from the distractions of our pretty hectic reality. It helps a person to center oneself and to open their mind's eye, to open their awareness of their surroundings. It allows a person to look at life through different lenses. That really helps a person develop their character. Really helps a person become more grounded with who they are, what they believe.
Ness Creek Music Festival, Saskatchewan. The Field Festival, just outside of Regina. Years of going to festivals. Absent Sound from Winnipeg. Funeral Songs in Quadrant Can. Now Drum and Bell Tower. The Nancy Reagan. Joelle Fuller from Regina. Jesse Nicholson. Tara Stadnick from Saskatchewan. Leah Arngrimson, currently working on her EP with her band, Hello Lady, from Regina, Saskatchewan. Amazing. That's it.
Not sure who wrote this one, but I'm wondering, Theresa, Corey, Cinged, I'm wondering if you guys like talking about the topics of your songs, and if you do, I'm wondering if you can give us some insight into the song you wrote called Preying on the Weak.
Preying on the Weak, a very awesome song. Talks about corporation, taking from people who don't even have a lot and just eating it. Greed. It talks about religion and people who believe that their belief is the only belief, and if you don't believe that, some of the lyrics to the song, it goes, holier than thou, so you think you're better than me, but yet you walk on the same ground that I walk on. Still you take from those who don't have much, and it's just me like standing up to that, and like it's the only way that I can stand up to it. I mean, I'm one person on this huge planet with all these people. The only way that I can show my aggression towards that kind of treatment is through my art. There's, and talking about it and making it a part of me. So that's preying on the weak. Fuck you guys, we're all equal. Like, kind of feelings. The imagery that comes to mind with that song is, in one area you have pigs that are like people. They have suits on and they're all like hairy pigs and sweaty and gross, and they're all like sitting around a table in the woods, and there's like a bunch of like turkey and all kinds of food on the table, and it's just like loaded with food of all kinds, just gluttonous food. And the pigs are like eating and eating and eating, and they're like blah, and being gross and just eating. And they have their suits on, right? Their business suits. And in the middle of all this like gluttony and eating and just getting fat and gross, I see a little boy, maybe he's from a different country, super thin, super skinny, and he's just like in chains on the table. Like he can't even like attempt to help himself to any food because corporation has him so beaten down and so chained down in his situation that he can't even try. And on the same table as this little boy is a vulture, right? And the vulture is just waiting for this little boy to die because he's just gonna fucking pick him. He's just gonna eat him. So the imagery is kind of like the same imagery as this one picture that I saw, just like where there was a little boy in Africa starving to death, and there was a vulture actually following him, and that breaks my heart. And then the other part of the video, there is a native war party in the woods getting fucking ready to just like clobber this corporation and to just be like, fuck enough. And there's like dancers and there's teepees and there's like beautiful imagery, and there's people just fucking mad and screaming and like praying and just all kinds of crazy shit going on, like, but all for like the greater good, right? Like all for like getting ready to battle this fucking pig because what they're doing is wrong. And in the imagery of preying on the weak, that's what I see. I see the war party getting ready. Holier than thou, you walk upon the ground and you prey on the weak. There's something greater at work here that we are a part of, and we have to project the message. It's just a reminder that every human being on this planet is equal in every way, and everybody walks on this earth, so no one is above or below anybody. That's what preying on the weak's about.
Okay, at this point I've heard a lot of Cinged tracks, and I'm pretty much continually falling in love with Theresa's voice. It's awesome. So Theresa, what I want to know from you is, how do you approach your songwriting, and is it just being experimental that helps you find the right vocal effect to use for each song? How do you know?
Vocal effects. One of the most awesome vocal effects that I enjoy working with has a lot to do with reverb. I know you probably hear this from a lot of singers, but reverb tends to make the acoustics seem like you're in a big hall or something, like it echoes off of the room. And so I really enjoy that kind of effect when it comes to using effects for my vocal. Other ones I like delay. It creates an ambiance of some sorts, and it goes really good with music that Cinged is creating.
We let her create her entire part at her speed as she likes to, with all the time she needs. We leave her in the room alone, we leave record on. She just spends her time creating her piece. After she spent her time and she comes out and she's satisfied, she says, "Yes, Corey, I'm good with this." I'll then put on the headphones and I'll just live in the song for a while. I'll live in what she's done. And then simply the effects just come after a while. That just comes with the editing of the song. So I'll go through and clean up little edges and tweak little levels here and there. Do my best to do my own mastering, even though my skills as a mastering technician are limited. And then the song usually tells us what sort of vocal effects to be placed on. I'll take the song and I'll listen to it in many different stereos, in our car or the computer speakers or in this set of headphones or in this set of headphones or off of the TV, to really try and get a feel for what exactly we have done here with all the levels and all the effect. And then out of all that, when we are finally officially done, which rarely happens because we never consider something done, but hopefully, the right effect will have chosen itself. Hopefully everything will have chosen itself so that it all sits together nicely.
I saw on the Cinged Reverb Nation page that you guys have a manager, Arcana. Now, here at Sleeping Bag Studios, we do our best to show bands and artists that with the power of the internet, you don't necessarily need to go the traditional route of promoting yourself through, say, the music industry and the way that it's been done in the past. So, I guess what I'm wondering, Cinged, is how did you choose Arcana? What kind of benefits have you found from working with management, and why do you feel that that's still a necessary element in the music world?
Arcana is in no way our manager.
Many years ago when I first started the Reverb Nation page, Arcana just happened to send us a little message, and I simply clicked on it, accepted it, and they became our quote-unquote manager. By us accepting them on Reverb Nation, it's sort of, we get promoted on their site, they get promoted on our little site. It's just sort of a mutual promotion deal. It definitely has nothing to do with management in any sense.
Obviously a manager is not a necessity.
I think a manager could be a very useful tool. However, any tool can be used improperly.
I'd like to think that these days artists can manage themselves. It's becoming more and more possible for the artists to book the shows, to promote themselves, to record their own music, to cut out the middleman and be the entire industry in and of themselves. Having a manager would help, but again, it's not required. We don't need one in order to play and to grow and perform anywhere.
The right person will be able to get you the right connections to the right venues, to the right places. The use of a manager can bring you better promotion, can give you better opportunities.
If we could find a manager who had the right connections in the industry, and at the same time of meeting the needs of the industry, also met the needs of the band, I wouldn't have anything against that. There's an art to everything. There's an art to making tea, there's an art to crafting wine, there's an art to growing all different crops. There's got to be an art to managing bands.
Because life can get kind of busy sometimes, especially when you have a little one.
Alright, Cinged, this is your opportunity to do some shout-outs. Tell us about somebody we don't know about, somebody that you guys know that's making awesome music right now that maybe we haven't heard of yet.
Shoutouts to all of the people who go to Ness Creek Music Festival, who go to all the festivals that, are in Saskatchewan. A lot of people from Saskatoon that I've known and had the pleasure of jamming with. A lot of people from Regina that have influenced me in my music and has influenced me as a person. Prince Albert, if you look hard enough, you will find amazing people, good-hearted, warm people. Shout outs to all of you guys, Because without those experiences, Without those experiences, I wouldn't be here.
I give a shout out to the universes. I give a shout out to everything that is unknown. I give a shout out to every single God, every single creator. I give a shout out to every single frequency out there. I give a shout out to light. I give a shout out to sound. I give a shout out to the human species. I give a shout out to life. I give a huge shout out to SBS Studios, for giving us this opportunity. Give a shout out to my girlfriend Theresa for being a part of this with me. Give a shout out to our newborn son. I give a shout out to all the creatures in my life, my fish, my birds, my dogs. I give a shout out to every single artist out there creating their art.
So just stress once again that these are videos that they have shot themselves. Last week we featured a track called Valley of the Clouds, and we're extremely happy to have worked on that with them in collaboration. But again, I gotta stress the fact that they shot that. They submitted those pieces that are cut and edited together so well. And that's done by Corey and Cinged, and it's just absolutely incredible stuff in terms of what I've received back. The quality was just phenomenal. So again, really well done for those guys. We're excited to show you another video this week from Cinged, again worked on through SBS for all kinds of fun stuff. This is called Smalltown, and we hope you enjoy it. sometimes to be a leader you have to stand up and do something different. Sometimes you have to break down some barriers that exist, and sometimes you have to risk some things that maybe are outside a little of your comfort zone. Cinged is a band that is able to push past those boundaries and see the bigger picture. So I'm really excited for us to see how they develop as the years go by, because they can be those leaders. I think based on their answers and things that you've heard today, we've got some people here that are kind of beyond the music that they make themselves. So I think they know that. I think they know that Cinged is kind of an energy that just seems to get released into the world. Interesting stuff, to say the least. So I want to say again, big thank you to Corey and Theresa for being with us here for this week on SBS Live. It's been fantastic getting to know them over these past months, and I am absolutely certain beyond all things that this is not the last we've heard of Cinged, and that we'll be hearing a lot more from Theresa and Corey as the years go by. Music and art need a big voice, and they need somebody to represent that whole new thing that we can do, to represent ourselves visually as well as musically as artists in this field. I already know of a handful that are going to come and work with us through SBS in all sorts of new ways, so we're excited to see what Cinged is going to start out there in you guys. So by all means, again, contact us directly. You can reach me all the time at jeremy@sleepingbagstudios.ca through email. Alright, so let's talk about next week. We have got a Turna going to be with us. This is a metal band from BC, and these guys I have seen live myself, and they slay it. So I'm very excited to have these guys. From what I've seen, from what I've researched out there, this is a band that's got a lot of opinions, and not only that, but they understand their genre. This is a band that knows what they want to play and how to play it. So as far as I can see, they play it well, and I'm looking forward to hearing what they have to say. If you've been following us at sleepingbagstudios.ca, then you also know about the podcast with radio host Jeff Jeffries. Super stoked about that all the time. And today we talked about Nixie, a band from Vancouver that combines the light of these beautiful harmonies and lyrics, along with some really dark, brooding elements in their kind of electro-fused rock. So there's a lot of different elements in Nixie, and as far as I've read, from what I read in their About page, they understand that they can change the world. So I'm very excited to see something like that in action and hear what they have to say. So that's going to be filming later this month. You'll see them later in the year. And what would be an SBS Live if I didn't mention our favorite band, The Pit, hard rock band in Vancouver. They are performing at the Cellar on February 8th. We will be there again with cameras in everybody's faces, so make sure if you're around in Vancouver that you get to that show. 4 bands on the bill. This is going to be great value for your money, as always. Yeah, go to this show. I've said it before. These guys rule live. You can see clips of them performing live from the Media Club on our site. So go and check one of those out. And if that doesn't convince you, then nothing has moved you off the couch for the last 2 months. And there was nothing I could have done in the first place. I don't think it's worth my apology. Go to that show. And lastly, I had a very exciting 52 hours straight awake, which ended in a fantastic trip to the island, Vancouver Island here. And we had a really tight schedule, but it was definitely worth the time going over there. I met some absolutely fantastic people, some great artists. I met people from This Date Burns. I met Kyle Truelove. I met Chelsea Lynn. I met, oh man, so many that were just awesome. Man-Made Lake I met, and I met Carrie Jane. There's a lot of people over there that are doing really great things, and we're absolutely stoked to show them to you. So again, from all of us at SBS, we've had a fantastic time with Cinged. Corey, Theresa, phenomenal. Stoked to see you guys again in the future and hear what else you create. And I'm also very excited to see what else you create now that I've seen what you can do. So thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next week with Eterna. That's on Wednesday, February 6th, and we're back with SBS Live this week.